Nerds, wake up! These beats ain't gonna make themselves. Today I've got something for you where, again, we're gonna record some stuff, but it's gonna be a lot easier and a lot more fun, and the results are immediately gonna be rewarding. Some of you might know this stuff already, but it's very fun, and I've been using it on the last album a lot. What I'm talking about is Ableton's Beat Warpmode quantization. Let's just go right into it. I have here a piece of cardboard that my morning coffee arrived in. I'm just gonna start hitting it with this stick. And as you might have noticed, I'm not going for any particular rhythm or trying to record precise hits of the cardboard. I'm just making foley, almost. Beautiful result. I want to turn this into a really interesting organic percussion background for this really basic house loop I've made over here. So I move this in here and cut you right here. And then you might remember from the episode about making your own instruments, as soon as you turn on the warp modes in Ableton here, you see that Ableton detects transients up here, these tiny little blue lines. And I'm gonna switch to beats mode over here. Warp mode beats, preserve transients, and I'm gonna do Command A to select this whole thing. I'm on a 16th notes grid right now. I'm just gonna go Command U for quantize. And now all these transients that Ableton detected have been quantized to 16th notes. Still kind of chaotic, right? Over here, we got 3 different ways that this Beats Warp mode works. I'm gonna go for the top one, because these markers have basically turned this audio clip into individual segments, and it's just gonna play that segment till its end, not change anything about it. And you can also say, hey, I actually want a volume curve, so that this first segment here, it's just gonna basically do a volume fade out right after this transient marker. This little kind of worked out now. These aren't that many percussion hits, so we might need more. I'm just gonna use the rest of that sample. So this is all quantized on 16th notes now, right? So I'm just gonna duplicate this audio track, and then let's take the next 4 bars, put you under here, take the next 4 bars, put you under here, and just play you all together at the same time. Alright, that works a lot better. Maybe 4 times is a bit much, because it's almost like constant hits are happening the entire time now. But that's pretty neat. Let's see what else we can do with this. We could adjust the pitch. An octave up is kind of nice, let's keep it there. Then we could pan one of these slightly to the left and the other one slightly to the right. They're already grouped, so we could put something on the group. Let's take away some low end, maybe some slight overdrive and a frequency shifter. Overall, they were a little bit loud. I toned them down a bit. I'm gonna turn on an offbeat hi-hat. So we have a little more groove reference, and then if you've loaded a groove into the groove pool, I've loaded just a regular 16th swing, we could also give these swing by just selecting all these audio clips, turning that on over here. I'm gonna increase the swing amount a bit so we can really feel it. If the groove that this percussion adds kind of feels a little random, maybe we should pick a section that is gonna loop. I like this first half and this second half from this one. So I'm just gonna have this be the actual percussion loop, and let's go. I've made a little shitty tech house bass line so we can feel this out. Fun stuff. What if we used some other settings in the warp mode here? If we turned on another warp mode here, like this loop forward or loop back and forth, we suddenly get these really cool glitchy tails, and like some interesting texture at the end of these hits. Maybe we can combine this with a transient shaper afterwards to bring the initial hits out a little more again. And the loops at the end of these slices that are being created by the transients and the warp mode are gonna play back faster or slower depending on how high we're pitching the thing. So original pitch. Can't really hear any of these glitchy loops at the end if we pitch it up quite a lot. That's pretty neat. Again, we do have this volume envelope at the end of each of these transients, so we could still make it more staccato by adjusting this. Let's try the back and forth loop. If these loops become so fast that it sounds like it's playing notes because it's repeating the loop so quickly, the back and forth loop, instead of just the forward loop, is gonna bring that pitch down an octave because it's looping the tail end of these slices back and forth, so it's gonna take twice as long for a full loop, which means the notes that you're hearing from the fast loop are gonna be an octave lower. Bup versus bam. If you don't have any fancy third-party transient shaper plugins, don't worry, you can also use Ableton's drum bus effect and then just kind of play around with this transients knob down here. I know this seems counterintuitive, but if you turn the transients knob down, the transients actually become more pronounced and the sustain is being turned down. Just putting it out there, that's a little weird. I'm just gonna speedrun some other recordings and see what we can get. Let's see, what else do I have here? An empty Spindrift can, let's go. Alright, move you over here. Turn on beats mode, transients, I'm gonna just do the one shot. 16th note grid, quantize, and let's see what we get from something like this. I kind of want to loop the first one 3 times and then have this one as a variation at the end. Let's do slight left-right panning again. Group the whole thing, EQ the whole thing. Alternatively to a transient shaper, you could also use something like autopan on like 8th notes and quarter notes and slightly just mix those in. Let's get the swing back in there. And now let's mess with these some more. Let's get a shifter back in here. That's also kind of fun. I just want to try out some variation. I've been using the frequency shifter to try and kind of tune it into the key of this bass line. Alright, we did cardboard, can, and I got some paper and napkins and stuff around here. I'm gonna do one more round with that. ASMR Central over here. Alright, let's go over here. Beats mode, forward, 16th notes, quantize. Okay, that first one's very high pitched. I might pitch that down a lot. This little roll here is nice. Crunchy bag noises and tearing paper. Yeah, maybe something like that. Let's keep you controlled though in terms of volume. Let's duplicate you a few times. I need some more audio tracks. Beats mode, 16th notes, quantize. I'm gonna loop you up here. I'm gonna loop the next bar over here, but an octave up. And the bar after that, below it, but an octave down. Oh, I really like that one. Also, I'm not sure if I turned on swing for all of these yet. I just want to make sure that you all... Yeah, from this point on forward, you can basically do whatever you want to process these and just be creative and go crazy. Since there's so many layers here, I'm kind of almost left with just constant 16th note. So I might want to use something like the volume shaper and shaper box to give certain notes like an accent. Like maybe I want something like that. I'd say the most successful one out of these three was the can. That gave a really cool texture to the whole beat and definitely immediately made this a lot more interesting. So yeah, try playing around with this. Maybe also try out quantizing samples, not just at 16th notes, but at triplets or at 8th notes. So like next time when you make a groove for whatever genre you're in, you don't have to immediately go to Splice and look for a percussion loop or a top loop. Maybe you can just record something. It doesn't have to be on time. You can just mess around in front of the microphone and let Ableton with the Beats Warpmode and the quantization do the rest of the work of turning whatever you recorded into a cool percussion loop to make your drums more lively. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.